On the morning of the November 22nd, 1963, the 35th President of the United States arrived in Dallas, Texas, smiling, waving, and completely unaware that he had less than 2 hours to live. Dallas was not a friendly city for Kennedy. It was a conservative stronghold where his politics were despised, and his advisors had warned him the trip was dangerous. The motorcade route through downtown Dallas had been published in the morning newspapers. Every citizen in the city knew exactly where the president would be and at what time. The presidential limousine, a dark blue Lincoln Continental with the protective bubble top, removed at Kennedy's request to allow the crowds to see him, turned onto Main Street at 12:10 p.m. At 12:30 p.m., the motorcade made a sharp turn from Main Street onto Elm Street, entering a relatively empty stretch of road that passed in front of a 7-story brick building called the Texas School Book Depository. At 12:30 p.m. and 27 seconds, the first shot rang out across Dealey Plaza, and the world changed forever. Within seconds, the president had been struck by at least 2 bullets, one passing through his throat and back, the second destroying the right side of his skull. At Parkland Memorial Hospital, the finest trauma team in Dallas worked for 22 minutes. But at 1 p.m., John Fitzgerald Kennedy was pronounced dead. Within 90 minutes of the shooting, Dallas police had arrested a suspect, a 24-year-old ex-Marine named Lee Harvey Oswald, caught hiding in a movie theater. Oswald had worked at the Texas School Book Depository, the building directly above the assassination site, and a rifle was found on the 6th floor, where witnesses said shots had originated. Oswald loudly and repeatedly denied shooting the president, telling reporters in the police station hallway, "I'm just a patsy," words that would echo through history. Then, 2 days later, before Oswald could be formally charged or tried, he was shot dead, live on national television, in the basement of Dallas Police Headquarters. Jack Ruby, a Dallas nightclub owner with known connections to organized crime, had walked past Dallas police officers unchallenged and shot the only man who could have told the world what really happened. President Lyndon Johnson, sworn in on Air Force One hours after the assassination, immediately established the Warren Commission to investigate the killing. 10 months later, the Warren Commission released its conclusion. Lee Harvey Oswald, acting alone, had fired 3 shots from the 6th floor of the book depository and killed the president. But almost immediately, serious researchers began finding problems with the official conclusion, problems that the Warren Commission itself had been unable to explain. The most contested issue was the single bullet theory. The Warren Commission's claim that 1 bullet caused 7 separate wounds to both President Kennedy and Governor Connally, who was seated in front of him. Critics noted that the recovered bullet, Commission Exhibit 399, was nearly pristine, showing almost no deformation, despite the Warren Commission's claim that it had shattered a wrist bone. Then there was the Zapruder film, 26 seconds of amateur footage shot by a Dallas dressmaker named Abraham Zapruder, the most studied piece of film in history. Frame 313 of the Zapruder film, the frame showing the fatal headshot, has been analyzed by hundreds of experts, and they cannot agree on which direction the bullet came from. Over 50 witnesses in Dealey Plaza reported hearing shots from the direction of the grassy knoll, to the right and front of the limousine, not from the book depository behind it. In 1979, the House Select Committee on Assassinations concluded, based on acoustic evidence, that there had probably been a second shooter, making the Kennedy assassination likely a conspiracy. Then, a subsequent review by the National Academy of Sciences disputed the acoustic evidence, saying the sounds were not gunshots at all, putting the 2 official government conclusions in direct contradiction. Who was Lee Harvey Oswald, really? A lone disturbed gunman, or something far more complex? Oswald had served at Atsugi Air Base in Japan, one of the most classified facilities in the US military system. The base from which the CIA launched its top-secret U-2 spy plane program. The CIA has never fully disclosed its files on Oswald, and in 2017, when President Trump ordered the release of classified Kennedy assassination documents, hundreds of files were withheld, citing national security concerns 54 years after the event. The theories about who was behind the assassination, if Oswald did not act alone, have ranged from the CIA to the Mafia, to Fidel Castro, to the Soviet KGB, to Lyndon Johnson himself. Each theory has serious researchers, documented evidence, and unanswered questions that the official investigation never resolved. What is indisputable is this: the President of the United States was killed in public, the only suspect was murdered before trial, and the government has withheld documents about it for 60 years. In a 2023 poll, 65% of Americans believe that Kennedy was killed as part of a conspiracy, making it the most persistently doubted official conclusion in American history. Dealey Plaza today is a National Historic Landmark, preserved almost exactly as it was on November 22, 1963, and visited by millions of people every year trying to understand what happened there. The sixth floor museum, located in the book depository itself, on the very floor where the sniper's nest was found, receives over 300,000 visitors annually, making it one of the most visited museums in Texas. Kennedy's assassination changed America in ways that are still being felt. It was the moment the country lost its innocence, the first great public trauma of the television age. The Kennedy assassination also permanently altered America's relationship with its own government, the beginning of a distrust that has never fully healed. The remaining classified documents, still withheld by the CIA and other agencies, are scheduled for full release in the coming years, and researchers worldwide are waiting. Whether those documents will finally resolve the question or simply deepen it, nobody knows. But 60 years of evidence suggest that what happened in Dallas was more complicated than one man with a rifle. The grassy knoll, the book depository, the single bullet, the pristine CE 399, the Zapruder film, the acoustic evidence, the classified files, each piece of evidence pointing in a different direction, none of them pointing clearly enough to end the argument. John Kennedy was 46 years old when he died in Dallas, the youngest elected president in American history, killed at the midpoint of his first term, his presidency permanently unfinished. Whatever the full truth of November 22nd, 1963, turns out to be, one fact remains unchanged. A president was killed in public. The official explanation has never been fully believed, and the questions have never stopped. He was shot in broad daylight in front of thousands of witnesses, filmed on camera, investigated by the most powerful government on Earth. And 60 years later, nobody agrees on what actually happened. The 26 seconds of the Zapruder film have been watched more than any other footage in history, and still, after 60 years, experts cannot agree on what they show. Abraham Zapruder, the man who filmed it, sold the footage to Life magazine for $150,000, but kept the original film, saying he never wanted to watch it again. Kennedy had been president for just 1,036 days, but those days changed the world, and the 26 seconds that ended them changed America forever. The question is not just who killed Kennedy, the question is whether the most powerful democracy in history is capable of telling its own citizens the full truth about what happened to their president. On November 22nd, 1963, John Kennedy was shot in Dealey Plaza, and whatever the full truth of that afternoon turns out to be, it has never stopped mattering, and it never will.